we have our next presenter, Usman Ahmed. So stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Utsa, for inviting me. And today I'm going to present my presentation in International Conference on Emerging Materials for Sustainable Energy and Environment at Sunway University. I'm Usman Ahmed from Department of Physics. So before starting the presentation, I would like you all to just imagine a world that we all are just moving in a forest. We are not here in the chairs and all the things. We are just moving in a forest, and in the forest, when we are moving, we see some of the stakes and all the things, and all of a sudden, one question came into your mind that can we use these sticks or these waste for something which will be good and which will be productive for our environment and also which will be productive. So I'm just taking you to the way that how we can use that things for us. So my topic of presentation is from biomass to supercapacitor, a UAE based biochar composite for superior energy application. Why UAE based? Because currently I am in UAE, so I have to just check what are the waste which is in UAE, and I have to work mainly on that thing. So the presentation will lead with the content that will be, I will start with some of the introduction, then some of the literatures which already have done, then biochars, a solution for energy storage devices, then I will discuss some of the sources for the biochar. After that we will discuss about how we prepare this biochar, what are the applications for the biochar, and in the last I will discuss that how the composite for the biochar are going to be worked. And in the last I will conclude my presentation. So introduction is, if we can see this graph from here, we can simply, like previously many of the presenter already have discussed this graph in detail, so I don't think so that I have to discuss more in detail because I have many slides. So just simply, if we see, we have the capacitors with high power density, and we have the batteries with high energy densities. But for us, for our work, we are looking for something which should have high energy density and also which should possess some of the things which we called at high energy density. For that, supercapacitors are well known for having high energy density and also for high power density, and they are very important for the energy storage system just because of having both of the advantages, and they have advantages over the traditional batteries. Why? Because they allow fast charging and they allow slow time to make the charge drain. Now, what the supercapacitors are? The supercapacitors are basically made up of two electrodes. The first electrode, the anode and the cathode. For here, the anode and cathode, sometimes we use the same material, sometimes we use the different materials for anode and cathode. For anode and cathode, mostly the researchers are, for the cathode, the researchers are using different kinds of the material. But what is the potential for supercapacitor? The potential for supercapacitor, if we see from 2018 to 2027, we can see that in millions of dollars, the people are investing, and the growth of the supercapacitors is going in millions of dollars. Now, different peoples are working on different type of the materials for supercapacitors. That materials are, they may be either metal oxide, metal nitride, MAXenes, carbon-based material, metal organic framework, and conducting polymer-based materials. If we see what is the growth rate for the materials individually, we can see activated carbon, they have a huge shift. Like if in 2027, they will be about 2,000 million USDs. It's not a million rupees or not like in MYR, it's in USDs. And for the metal oxides, same rest of the materials are going on. But the issue is, as previously I told you, that imagine a world we are just moving, and you got think that okay, he is making supercapacitors and all the things. But why we are making supercapacitors? We have to know. Previously I am just saying that supercapacitors are good than batteries, and then why I am going to work on supercapacitors? Because there are some limitations currently we are just facing for the supercapacitors, that are limited energy density, voltage drain during the discharging, and also the temperatures, they are temperature sensitive. So in the literature, to cover all these things, different researchers have made different electrodes. from different materials. They use conducting polymer based materials because they are highly conductive, they have low charge transfer resistance, they have power efficiency, and they have good efficiency also. On the other, some of the researchers, they use metal oxides, metal sulfides, because having high surface area, high conductivity, and a high electrocatalytic response. And many of the researchers, because of the stability, this is the main concern for our supercapacitors. Because of the stability, many of the researchers, they already have done their work on different kind of carbon material. And my work is also on the carbon-based material. Why carbon-based material? Because carbon-based material, they have high conductivity, they have the stability, they have good pore size, they have high surface area for the flow of electron, they give us the low resistivity. Another thing is we can get the carbon-based material from renewable energy sources, different renewable. We can get it from the plants, we can use it, and we can also give back to the plants. Okay, as my work is on, basically I'm just taking these biochar sources from the biomass which is produced in UAE. If we see that 40 million palm trees each year generated 50 kgs of, and if I simply just convert, it will be 600 million kilogram of waste just only from the palm trees. And on the other side, this tree, this is the tolerance tree, and by the way, this is the national tree for Al-Ghaf tree. This is the national tree for UAE. It don't need much water to grow. The rest we can also go for the mangrove waste. There are a lot of mangrove waste just near to the seaside and near to the rivers. They just artificially designed. So this is also one of the problem for them. And the agriculture waste, everywhere. If I'm saying about the Malaysia, if I'm saying about Pakistan, India, or any other country, even in UAE, agriculture waste residue, we have a lot of things. So we have to deal with this thing. We cannot just dump them. We have to make something which is productive, which is very good for us. Now I am saying about the biochar. Why biochar? There are different sources for biochar. I'm just taking, if we simply said, it's not only with the plant base. We can take biochars from the crab shells, from the shrimp shells and sugar cane, hairs and cocoons. Then okay, we have the biochar. The next thing comes in our mind that how we can use that biochar. It's not like having a biochar and we cannot use that biochar. So there are different methods to use that biomass and to convert this biomass into biochars. That is hydrothermal, pyrolysis, solar, microwave, and the laser assisted method. After doing these things, what we get? We get different of the things that we have different structures. We can make different structures for that, and we use that biochar for different applications. There are energy storage applications, energy conversion applications, water treatment, and rest of the things. Now there are, as I discussed previously, there are different synthesis routes. After getting the powder, what we do, we just make it as a hydrochar by hydrothermal or any other conditions. Once we have that one, we have to do some other treatment that we call it as pyrolysis. What pyrolysis do? The pyrolysis, with the method of pyrolysis are different other methods we can use. What it do? It just simply activate our material and it makes some of the different, it change its little bit structure and it make it porous. And what we get in the last, we get high surface, functionalized surface area. We are just actually getting the functionalized area. It's something like we have a surface area and these are the functional group which came after the activation. So what is happening next, that when we are going to dope something, that dope material is just deposit on that thing. This surface area, functional area, give them easy way to connect with them. And in the last we get bio-based carbon materials. So here I would like to, there are methods that we can synthesize metal-based biochars by hydrothermal treatment, by pre-pyrolysis treatment, and we can make the biochars by one step, from biomass to biochar by single one step, and another we can make it by two step. By one step is we can directly do microwave assisted method or the pyrolysis under some conditions, and we can make this. And by two method is, first we have to make the hydrochar, and then after making the hydrochar we are going to make biochar. Then this biochar will be used for the further applications. Like here, people, they already have used different type of the materials, like they use the almonds, and by simple hydrothermal process they converted it into biochar, and then they got the very good specific capacitance area for that. That one is 255 farad per gram, and the same they got very high. The same they got high specific capacitance, high stability, like 95 and 96% capacitance rotation after 3000 cycles. There is another researcher. They done their research on just making the tobacco waste, and they use it for the supercapacitors, and they got also very good results. Now, first we have the biochar. Now what we are going to do with the biochars? Since biochar are very good, but still we have some of the issues with the biochar in terms of their conductivity or in terms of their capacitance. So we incorporate different kinds of metal oxides, metal sulfides into the biochar that actually enhance the capacitance of the supercapacitors, and also they improve their conductivity. And the last, the synergistic effect between the biochar and the synergistic effect between the metal oxide, it gives them a high surface area for the flow of electron, which actually improve the efficiency and the stability of supercapacitors. So for this one, people they also use different biochars, and then they mix this biochar with the nitrogen, with some of the other nitrogen oxide condition. This is the soybean stalk biochar, and they got very good results based on that thing. They have high capacitance, they have high surface area, they have good energy density. Another, they make metallic biochar synthesized by a low-cost pyrolysis method. They got high surface area, that is 1397 farads per gram, and then they have very good cyclic stability, and also they reported they have high energy density, which is 12.2. Now, many of the researchers, they mix different kinds of metal oxide into biochar, and they got all these results from their experiments. Now, what is the future? The future is, if I have a biochar material, I'm just playing with the structure of that biochar. What I'm doing, I'm just making the morphologies of my metal oxide based material. I'm just improving its efficiency. And once if I improve the efficiency, what we do? We just got this thing. We got a very good supercapacitor that is actually running the cars and the things. By the way, this is not the battery, it's a supercapacitors. So conclusion is different sources of biomass and selection. Like the carbon, actually what carbon we are getting, it depends on what source we are getting. Like I am just taking the source as a biochar. Like currently I have date palm, I have date seeds, I have date shells, and also I have the date fibers. So every material, it is giving me the different composition for the carbon content, and the properties also affected by all these things. And for the conclusion and the further recommendation, we have to get up with an approach that give us something which will be economical. Activation processes also, as I discussed, activation processes, they also are very effective for this thing. And incorporation of metal oxides, that what metal oxides we are using, what kinds of morphology we are just going to add, and what is the particle size. These all things actually affects. And thank you so much for having time with me and listening to me for this. Thank you so much for providing me this opportunity. This all data is taken from these references. Thank you.
Thank you, Usman. So, any questions from the floor?